welcome to yet another episode of the Linda Ogweno Political Show. In this show, we train you about politics and political processes, hoping to bring better governance to Kenya. I'd want to appreciate Women United for Our Future for the role and the support that they have given us towards the production of this particular show. Today, we want to look at some of the frequently asked questions when you will be in the campaign trail. You could be assuming that these are questions that you'll easily tackle. However, preparation is key. They say if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. So one of the obvious questions that you should expect is kindly introduce yourself. This question can be structured, that is in the form in case you're attending a debate or a structured function, but it can also be an informal one. But then again, you also need to prepare for it. If it's formal, they will structured. The panelist or the person guiding that conversation will be able to guide you on the structure by which you use. But if it's an informal setup, you just need to prepare. So, introducing yourself, you need to know which names are you going to use. For example, if you're a married person, you could be having a partner, and therefore you want to use your partner's last name or their surname. So just get to be prepared for that and know if you want to use their name, then well and good. If you also do not want to use again, it is well and good. This also applies to people who have nicknames. You find that somebody, that entire area, people know you with your nickname, maybe boy, for example. So you want to plan early. Do you want people to know you with that? Remember, if you go to the ballot box, maybe you'll not be using the name boy. And so the ones who are coming to vote for you may have a difficult time getting that name in the ballot paper. You find some politicians, they want to be associated with the project they have done. For example, somebody is called Mama Maji or somebody is called Wamatangi. So if you are that type of politician and you want to be known by that name, just decide early and therefore start selling that name early. But remember that it will be a challenge to have that name in the ballot paper, and that may give some of your voters a hard time. It is not impossible to have nicknames embedded within the ballot paper, but it is a long process. So if you have decided that you want your name to be in the ballot paper, your nickname that is, start early and start going through that process so that by the time elections arrive, your name will be able to be inserted. That nickname will be able to be inserted in the ballot paper, and therefore your voters will able to find it. But start early. It is a long process, so make sure you're not cut off with time. In addition to that, when you're introducing yourself, there are other details, maybe of the clan where you come from, maybe of your children, maybe of your spouse. All those you find that some voters may want to know. Allow me to make a disclaimer at this point. If you're vying for a smaller seat, more or less like an MCA seat, generally voters ask many questions compared to if you're going for a bigger seat like MP or governor or president. People are not very inquisitive on the small details. I don't know why it happens like that, but that is how it happens. So just have this information and prepare yourself for it. Again, people would want to know which seat are you vying for. So this is another question. Which seat are you vying for and why? The answer to this question is personal, so take time and find out exactly why are you vying for that seat. Why are you vying for that seat and not vying for the other one? There's MCA, there's senatorial, there are 6 positions in a ballot. Why are you choosing for this particular seat and not the other seat? Again, the other question you want to answer is why are you vying for it in that particular area? For example, you could be vying in the area where you're brought up, or you could be vying in the area for women, maybe where you are married, or you could maybe go back to your rural home and therefore you're vying in your rural home. So be very clear, why have you chosen that particular area and why are you seeking to represent them? In addition to this, that means there could be some community problems that you have identified that you want to address. So before vying, take your time to do your research and know that area and know it very well and their challenges. Do not assume as a candidate that this is the challenge that this particular area has. You could have lived in that area, and so you're well averse with 1 or 2 challenges that they have, but take your time to do your research and also ask other people so that you can also get their opinions as well. This is also very important because it's also going to contribute to a big amount to your manifesto and you coming up with your manifesto. And so you'll also be able to answer why are you not vying elsewhere. So this also goes to the next question that you expect people to ask you, and that is, where is your manifesto and what are you going to do for us? So after doing your research, come up with a manifesto. Preferably when you're going to campaign, have it in hand so that if somebody asks you that question, you're able to hand over a hard copy to them. Again, when you leave a hard copy to them and when you leave that place, they have something that they can refer to, they have something that they can share with other people. So it is very advisable to have a hard copy of a manifesto when you're going to campaign. Allow me to also add that when you'll be drafting your manifesto, try and segment it. An entire area may not necessarily have one particular problem. You have the border sector. Their challenge could be different from the youth sector. Their challenge could be different from the women sector. Their challenge could be different from the golden ages. So you want to segregate it so that somebody asks you, so us as the border people, what are you going to do for us? You are able to answer that question and answer it well. Of course, you're likely not to be the only person vying for that particular position. So expect to be asked, who are some of the other contestants who are vying for this particular position? Try and avoid marketing your opponent. So don't try to think the other person is XYZ. No, just try selling yourself as a candidate and let your other opponents look for this particular voter and also sell themselves. So avoid uh, letting that particular voter know of the other opponents. But as a candidate, you have to know your other opponents. When you're in the race, you have to know them, even if they come up the very last minute. And you should expect that, because even the very last minute you'll have a new opponent. So expect them and try to know more than their name, so that, because this is a competition and you want to win, so try to know more than the name of your opponent. That, and I repeat, do not market your opponent, but know more about them. And of course, you'll be asked, why should they vote for you and not your opponent? So this is also not another opportunity for you to start saying negative things about your opponent. They did this, they did that. No, this is an opportunity for you to sell. Shine. What have you done? What are your strong points? Go ahead and just sell yourself. Let your opponents, as I repeat, go and also sell themselves. Again, you'll be asked, this is politics, and politics, people change. And so expect voters to ask you, why should we believe you? The last person who held this seat, they have probably changed, or they failed us. They promised us they're going to do this and that, and they have not managed to do it. So why should we believe you? So as somebody who's going to vie, you want to do your research and know the current person, the seat bearer currently, what have they managed to do and what has been their failures, what have they not done, so that you are able to answer this question very well. And what they have managed to do also, give them, they say, give Caesar what belongs to them, give credit where it's due, so that you are able to say that you'll be able to build on that. Maybe they have built at something and reached a particular level, so you are able to take it from that level and take it to another level. So you want to know the current seat bearer and what they have done. Again, the next question that you expect voters to ask you is, in the other seats that you're not vying for, who are you supporting? For example, you're vying for MCA and there's somebody else who's vying for, let's say, a senatorial seat. So somebody asks you, so for the senatorial seat, you as a candidate, who are you supporting? Avoid answering this question very directly and saying, me, I'm supporting person X. Reason being, you'll find that in a crowd for the other seats, there are people who are supporting person X, and maybe there are people who are supporting person Y. So if you say you're supporting person X, then in that crowd you will lose the support of person Y. So just tell your voters that for that seat they are allowed to make their own choices. Not unless the political party insists that you have to vie as for all the seats, then the voters have to vote for that particular party. Avoid being in that situation, because there are people who may not be supporting that candidate that you're being asked for. Another question you expect is, people say, as a politician, right now we can be able to access you. But when you win elections, you change, you move houses. Now you're not picking phone calls. Now you're busy. But now we are able to access you, and you've come here to seek for votes. So how are we sure that you're not going to change once you have won elections? This is a question that you want to prepare for, and have mechanisms by which voters will be able to reach you even after you have won elections, and even during the campaign period. Just voters should be able to reach you. And of course, being in political leadership is about service. So you want voters should be able to reach you. So think about this question and answer it and put in the mechanisms where so that people are able to reach you when there is a community need and voters are able to connect with you. The other question you expect people to ask is, what are some of the projects that you have done? Now that you're seeking this seat, what can we tell? What is your history? What is your background? I want to challenge you that you have time. You have to have done something for the community. You just can't wake up and say, now you want to run for a certain political seat. There has to be something in that particular area that has asked you or that you want to improve. So work on community projects, and community projects do not necessarily have to be those ones that you are the one who is doing 100%. There are things that are as free as just going for public participation and speaking on behalf of your people. You can also do a community project in liaison with somebody else or with an organization like CSOs and NGOs. So you can approach them right now and they're able to do, you're able to collaborate and do particular projects. So don't look at community projects as things that they're financially, they need a lot of finances and therefore you're able not to do them. Try and represent your people and be able to be part and parcel of the process right now when there is time. That will also help you be so much into the community and be well averse with the challenges of that particular community. Another question you should expect is how you're going to work with other leaders. For example, let's say you're vying for an NCA. How are you going to work with other leaders? For example, the governor, because it is said that if you support the governor, then they'll give you goodies, or if you support the president, then they'll give you goodies that you're able to bring to your people. How are you going to have a good relationship with that governor or that president? Let's say in the event you're vying for an MP, so that the governor or the president can give you goodies to bring to your people. This is a question that you should expect and prepare to answer it. Or are you going to be a yes person? Yes person just means whatever the governor says, you allow it to pass so that you have a good relationship and you get to benefit and bring goodies to your people. Remember, if you oppose the governor, again the governor may not give you goodies. So you want to answer this question well, because people want to know, are you going to represent them regardless? Are you going to be the person who has a back of steel, who can speak against the illegalities that happen in that house or that assembly or that parliament? Your voters want to know. So prepare for this question and answer it well. Of course, you could be vying either through a political party or as an independent candidate. You want to know which route you're going to use. So as an independent candidate, expect yourself to be asked, why are you not vying through a political party, and have your answers solid and well researched. Again, if you're vying through a political party, you want to do a proper research of which political party you're going to vie using. There are so many political parties. So why are you choosing that political party? In addition to that, you want to know the ethos of that political party, the culture. You want to know their constitution. Read it, take your time and read it, and continue watching this channel and watch the episode where we are going to talk about political parties to equip you, so that when you're going to choose your political party, you have the weapons and enough knowledge that will guide you through that process. So go through a political party, know why you are choosing that political party, so that when your voters ask you which vehicle are you using, you have your answers right. You expect also to be asked that who in that political party is supporting your candidature. A voter will tell you, you have convinced me, you've talked to me, you've convinced me, and me, you have my vote. But I want to know who in the hierarchy, the highest level of the political party is supporting your candidature, so that my vote does not go to waste. You know, in some areas in this country, when you have the ticket of that political party, you are as good as elected. So this voter may not want to lose their vote with your candidature. So have prepare for that question, because it is most likely to come. In the campaign train, you also expect questions that may throw you off guard. Questions that probably, even if you researched and did 100%, you may not have researched in that area. It is okay to say I don't know. You may not have answers to everything, but if you are in a position to quickly Google and quickly research, and you're able to give an answer, especially to questions that are very factual, questions that involve data. These are things, if you're in a position to quickly just Google where you're standing and give that answer, then do that. But if you don't know, you're allowed to tell a voter, I don't know, but allow me to go research and I will give you feedback. Go a step ahead and take that voter's name and contact and tell them you're going to do a research, and then you will give them that feedback. And go and do exactly that. Once you find that feedback, call that particular voter, get in touch with them, and let them know what that which you have found. That voter will appreciate you for doing that. Remember, there are some voters, probably they have lived in that area for even over 30, 40 years, so they know that area more than you, who is just a new aspirant and coming to that area. So you don't want to challenge and put yourself in a situation where that person knows better than you. Also be willing to learn from that voter. If that voter can add wisdom to what you already have, then just admit and let them add to it. Don't insist that you know everything. The other trick question, and this one especially goes to women, you'll be asked if, especially single women, you may be asked, now that you're single, uh, if you get married, how sure are we that you'll not take the resources that is meant for us and take it to where you're married? Voters are just concerned. What their concern is, they should be able to, be in touch with you. So prepare for this question and be able to answer it. Peradventure you get married, what happens to your electorate? Will they not be able to reach you, or will you take their resources and take to the place where you are married? But remember, marriage is not a requisite for you to vie for a political post. If you're single, if you're divorced, if you're in a situationship, some of you are in these things that cannot even be explained. It is okay if you have the passion for leadership to go and represent people. Nowhere in the requirements to vie for any seat has it been listed that you have to be married or you have to be in a relationship. No, it is not listed there. The requirements, we have tackled them in the other episode, and take time to watch those ones as well. And none of it is you need to be in a relationship with somebody, or you need to be married, or like that. But remember, you have to represent your people. And what people are worried about, we are still in an African setup, and in the African setup they believe that somebody who is married or in a relationship is somebody who seems to be a bit stable. So if you're single, know that this is their challenge, and you want to prepare so that you are able to tackle these questions as it comes up. Another thing, if somebody asks you a question that you feel 100% you're uncomfortable with answering that question, you are not obliged to answer that question. But you also cannot be rude to a voter. So you want to find a tactical way of avoiding that question. What I'd say or recommend is maybe digress or divert that conversation to go to something that is very popular. For example, people like talking about football, Man U, Arsenal. So you can just digress and find a way of just, you have turned the topic, and now people are talking about Man U and Arsenal. This one is not advisable, but it's also a very nice topic to digress to. Sex, relationship, those are topics that are very, very interesting to voters. So you may digress there for a little bit, so that you don't end up answering the question that they're asking you directly. But if you feel you're disrespected, because somebody can actually disrespect you, then politely let them know that you're not comfortable answering that question, and walk away if you must, or just let them know that no, this is not allowed, because voters will continue pushing your boundary. Remember, some of those voters have also been sent by your opponents to just ask you and to put you in a very negative situation. Also, when you're answering questions, some people would be recording. Yes, literally, they're just recording your answers and what you're saying, and they're going to play it to somebody else, and you don't know how far that video is going to go. So just be careful. At the back of your mind, have it that I'm being recorded. So you do not want to go and start saying very negative things about other people. At this particular time, I really want to appreciate you for watching until this particular end. But I'd want to hear, especially from the people who have vied and they have been in the campaign trail, what are some of the questions that you have been asked, so that you share it with us in the comment section, so that together we are able to learn from it, grow together, and we are able to say into it that in the next election that is coming, we have vied for this seat, and not only vied, we have won this seat, so that we are able to have a better country. Thank you once again, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time.